The world dissolved into a blur of chaos and desperation. Smoke choked the air, the metallic tang of defeat thick on our tongues. We ran, a frantic scramble away from the smoldering husks of our robotic defenders. Each labored breath was a gasp for survival, every footfall a prayer against the encroaching darkness that had consumed our allies. The triumphant roars of the enemy echoed behind us, a relentless hunter's call that spurred us onward through the shattered landscape. Our initial playful banter a lifetime ago now felt like a cruel joke. This was no game. This was a flight for our very lives, a desperate retreat from a battle we had so spectacularly lost. The ground trembled with the pursuit, and we pushed ourselves harder, driven by the raw, primal instinct to simply outrun the end. Our lungs burned as we stumbled into the skeletal remains of an abandoned house, the splintered door groaning in protest as we forced our way inside. The momentary relief of cover was instantly shattered by a grim discovery. There, sprawled in a dark corner, was Vila. His body was a testament to the brutality we had just escaped, his familiar form now still and stained with blood. A collective gasp of horror rippled through our small group. Cappy's hands flew to his mouth, a muffled cry escaping. Stake's boisterous energy vanished, replaced by a heavy, somber stillness. Fulton, ever the stoic, simply stared, his eyes reflecting a profound, unspoken sorrow. We knew him. We had shared laughs, planned strategies, fought alongside him. Now we could only mourn the silent, broken figure before us, another friend lost to this unending war. The fragile piece of our grief was torn apart as the wall imploded. A demogorgon, all sinew and teeth, crashed through the debris, its monstrous form silhouetted against the dying light. Its terrifying shriek filled the small space, and before we could react, its clawed hand shot out, seizing Minion 2. The main character lunged forward, a desperate attempt to save him, but the creature was too strong, too fast. It grabbed him as well, its grip like iron bands, and began to drag them both back into the suffocating darkness from which it came. Minion 2's terrified cries were swallowed by the shadows, a final heartbreaking sound that would haunt our nightmares forever. A wave of absolute despair washed over us. We, the survivors, collapsed to our knees, the weight of our loss too heavy to bear. The Watcher, who had seen so much, finally bowed his head, a single tear tracing a path through the grime on his cheek. Cappy and Stake held each other, their bodies racked with sobs. Fulton turned away, his shoulders shaking with silent grief. Minion 1 stared into the void where his friend had vanished, his expression a hollow mask of shock and disbelief. A profound, mournful melody began to fill the air, an orchestral lament for the fallen. We were broken, a shattered remnant of a once proud group, united only by our shared, suffocating sorrow. As the sad music swelled, the grim reality of the abandoned house faded. The world softened, bathed in a warm, gentle light. In a fleeting montage of happier times, Minion 2 was alive again. We saw him laughing, a banana held triumphantly in his hand, his joy infectious and pure. He was there, sharing a triumphant high five with Minion 1 after a small victory. The scene shifted to a bright, sunny field where he played tag with us, his goofy, energetic movements bringing smiles to all our faces. There was a snapshot of him and I, posing for a silly photo, our faces scrunched in mock seriousness. Then, a final glimpse of his passion, Minion 2, completely absorbed, happily tinkering with some absurdly complex gadget, a look of intense concentration and joy on his face. The light-hearted theme played beneath the sorrowful orchestra, a sweet, painful memory of the friend we had just lost. The warmth vanished in an instant. The harsh, monochrome reality of our horror snapped back into focus, the colors of memory bleeding away into shades of gray and black. We were still there on the floor of that damned house, tears streaming down our faces. The faces of Cappy, Stake, Fulton, Minion 1, and the Watcher were portraits of utter desolation. I looked at my own hands, then slowly clenched my right hand into a tight fist, my knuckles white. A vow formed in the crucible of my grief, a promise of vengeance whispered into the silence. The mournful score surged, reaching a powerful, dramatic crescendo that underscored the depth of our pain and the birth of a new, terrible resolve before everything faded to black.